Hello everybody, and to all my MYP students. Are you having trouble understanding what degree of accuracy means in Criterion D? Now, Criterion D has historically been one of the toughest criteria for most students, which is basically applying mathematics in real life context. So today what we're going to be doing in this video is to unlock some mysteries that usually students struggle with in Criterion D. And one of the strengths that you could see, which I've highlighted here, which is basically explaining the degree of accuracy of the solution. This historically has been problematic, and today I would like to show you with an example, a real life situation with the NBA, which is the National Basketball Association, and we're going to be looking and uncovering how we could explain degree of accuracy better, and hopefully this will give you some confidence when you look at future Criterion D tasks as well. Okay, so the definition of degree of accuracy is basically the measure of how close and correct a stated value is to the actual real value being described. Now this is obviously just a definition that has been taken online, but we're gonna unpack this, and we're gonna see how this actually makes sense. Okay, so so the scenario that I have here is we are gonna be looking at the standard basketball net, which obviously has been given to, and this is a standard height, which is basically 3.048 meters in height, and the average NBA player is about 2.01 meters tall. Now, and I got a first question for you, okay, and I would like you to be able to discern the difference between the height given to you in the basketball net and the height of the average player, and we want to see the difference, all right, in the numbers that has been given to us. Now, so the first question I have for you is, how accurate is the height of the basketball net? Now, if I'm going to pose this question to a student, and I'm almost certain that I'm going to get this answer, which is the height of the basketball net is very accurate because the NBA said so. Now, if you write something like that, you are sure not to get any credit for this criterion. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we should be looking out for when it comes to accuracy of a measurement or a number that is given to you in a given context. Now, in this case, if you look at the basketball net, this number has obviously been given to you and is given to 3 decimal places. What we are explicitly looking when it comes to the accuracy of a measurement or a number is basically looking at the rounding or the number of decimal places that you have in the measurement or the number that you have. Is not only restricted to the number of decimal places. Obviously, we could take another step further and start looking at things like significant figures, but I'm going to keep things simple today because people who are some students who are watching this video could just be simply MYP 1 students or just simply grade 6 students, and we're just going to keep things simple by looking at just simply decimal points. Okay, so that will put everyone on the same page and to make explanations much easier as well. Now, so we do agree that the basketball net has 3 decimal places, so I think a good answer to explain or to write down the accuracy of the height of the basketball net is that we could say that the height is accurate to 3 decimal places, or you could say to the nearest thousand. Okay, but I think 3 decimal place generally would make sense. How accurate is the average height of a player? Now, if you see the difference, the height of the NBA player is not given to 3 decimal places. It's only given to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to say the height is accurate to 2 decimal places. Okay, now again, between these two numbers, between the height and the height of the net and the height of the player, which has greater accuracy, the height or the player, right? It is evident that if you have more decimal places, there must be more precision in the numbers, which means that you should have a higher accuracy as well. So in this case, the net, the height of the net is more accurate, okay, because it has been measured to 3 decimal places, while the height of the player is only measured to 2 decimal places. Okay, so at least I think we can all agree upon this, that the height of the net has to be must have a higher greater accuracy, because it has a higher precision because of the 3 decimal places that's given to us. Okay, now one thing about degree of accuracy is that besides looking at the rounding of the numbers, we need to think about some of the real life factors that could have caused the difference between the accuracy of both heights. Now, there is no one correct answer for this. There are usually multiple solutions, and that's what makes Criterion D very, very interesting, because um, if the answer makes sense, obviously you're going to get credit for it. So try to think from this given context, which is about the heights of the NBA players or a basketball player, and the height of the basketball net. So um, so we want to think about why the net is given to 3 decimal places and why the height of the player is only given to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I think one thing we can talk about is some real life factors, is that when it comes to heights, okay, especially for basketball players, they tend to wear shoes which may affect their height. So sometimes some of the shoes might be, uh, it has an extra, it gives them the extra height because of the type of shoes they're wearing. Um, so, and of course, if you are talking about a very young player, there is opportunity for the player to grow taller as well. So, but the thing about a basketball net is that the precision, all right, is much more important. It's much more like a fixed number as well, because we all can agree that the net is something that doesn't move. It's an inanimate object. So, and therefore we need to be more accurate with its measurement, because obviously the height of the net needs to be a standardized measurement as well, usually in a regular basketball game, particularly in the NBA as well. Okay, so I'm going to write some reasons here on why the accuracy of both heights are different. So I think I'm going to write something that some players wear shoes that may affect their genuine height. Okay. Um, Sometimes you could also say that the players may have under or overstated their heights as well. Um, Generally, people can grow taller, particularly for the younger players. But I would say precision is important for the net. Alright, I would say it's more important for the net, because we need to ensure that the game is fair. Okay, you can't have the nets to have a different height, otherwise the game is going to be unfair. Okay, and the net is a fixed object, so it won't move during the game, and therefore we need to be more accurate with its measurement. You see where I'm coming from, guys? I mean, when it comes to Criterion D, and when it comes to explaining the degree of accuracy of the height, we need to think about some real life factors um, that that contributes to the degree of accuracy that's given to us in these two measurements here. But again, this is not an exhaustive list, all right? There could be other reasons that, as long as it makes genuine sense, I think that's fine. But these are things that I find from my personal opinion on why there is a difference in the degree of accuracy of both heights as well. Okay, now so let's look at the next question. Okay, it says that in the real life context, while it may be possible, do you think it's reasonable or necessary to express the average height of a player to the nearest centimeter? So what it has been given to us, it was in meters, but now this question is asking that do we would it be reasonable for us to express the height to the nearest centimeter? Okay, yeah, I think absolutely for sure it is definitely reasonable to measure to the nearest centimeter. All right, I think what would be a problem is if we round the height to a lower accuracy, for instance to the nearest 10 centimeter. Now then we got a problem here that will impact the measured heights of the players. Okay, for instance, okay, if you are, let's say 205 centimeters, no, I mean 206 centimeters, and you round it off to the nearest 10 centimeter, then obviously this would be rounded to 210 centimeters, and that's a difference of 4 centimeters. Okay, so how you round the height, okay, will create an issue as well, but as long you're able to justify the reason, I think that would be that it's all reasonable. Okay, question 6, let's look at this. It says, in the real life context, while it may be possible, do you think it's reasonable to express the height to the nearest millimeters? Okay, yeah, I think it is possible. Yes, it is reasonable to round the height to the nearest millimeter. Okay, I think we just talked about this, okay, that basketball is a professional sport, and it is important to be this accurate to ensure fairness of the game. Okay, and what is the difference between the player's average height and the net? Of course, if we take the difference, which is basically taking 3.048 minus 2.01, let's just see the difference between the heights. It's basically 1.038 meters. So now this is a classic question. How accurate is your answer in question 7? Okay, so please don't ever say that my answers are accurate, because the NBA has given us the height of the net and the average height of the player. Okay, so you should be saying something like, how my answer is to the nearest 1,000, or to 3 decimal places. Okay, and of course we can explain why they have 3 decimal places if the question asks for it. Okay, now I hope this video actually gives you a rough sense of what degree of accuracy is. In a nutshell, what we're really looking at is the rounding of the measurements or the numbers in the given context, and if you need to explain why a particular number is rounded to, let's say, 1 or 2 decimal places, always look back at the context of the problem. All right, and I know some of you may have that trouble coming up with real life reasons, but sometimes all you really need to do is to kind of show some basic knowledge of the context given to you, and even if you don't have it, just be creative and come up with some ideas for that. It's always it's usually fine as long the reasons are reasonable and it makes relevant sense as well. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, Criterion D, it's a real life problem, and real life problem usually have multiple solutions. Okay, and so I hope this video helps, and if you think that this gives you a little insight into what degree of accuracy is, please like the video, subscribe to my channel as always. Alright, I'll see you very soon. Take care.